Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the 2023 MLB Winter Meetings on NS9LIVE. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, as always, Jim Rosati. What's up, Jim?
What's going on?
A lot.
Happy day 3 of the Winter Meetings.
I'm excited. This is a good time.
It's been, so this is my first time here. Had no idea what to expect. And it's kind of crazy because not a whole lot of stuff actually happened.
Right.
But just an absolutely incredible experience. It's a who's who of Major League Baseball here. We got to see every single person you could think of from baseball Twitter. We got to meet up with, obviously, all of the Pittsburgh guys who are here covering the Pirates. Got to meet up with some national beat writers, some past podcast guests. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
It definitely has.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely has. And again, like you mentioned, like not a lot happened. And this isn't just like Pirates related. Like we understand a whole lot didn't happen to Pirates, though they did make a trade. So like that was more than I think we kind of felt was going to happen. But like think about nationally, like what really did happen here amongst MLB. Like I feel like the winter meetings have been like they're very hit or miss. Like a lot of stuff has happened in winter meetings, and then you get duds. And this time was kind of a dud. Now, like the Juan Soto trade seems like it's happened. It's not official yet, right? Nothing with Shohei. Like honestly, the Marco Gonzalez trade was like the highlight of all the winter meetings. It seemed
The Marco Gonzalez trade twice. Gonzalez was basically the main character this week. He was traded on Sunday night along with Jared Kelenic, and then traded last night. In the wee hours of the night, we were having dinner. We were with Jason Mackey of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette when the news happened. Jeff Passan tweeted it out, and then all of a sudden it was like, well, we got to stop what we're doing. We got to. He cranked out, he cranked out a report. He confirmed it right there with us. Then we went out and reported our live rapid reaction to it. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So like the environment, just really cool, And like I said, I don't know if we talk about this out and about like on the camera, but behind the scenes, I said like I'm not sure what to really expect because like I felt like COVID changed some things. This is how it's like this is how I remember when I used to go like with Ryan a few times. So like yeah, it's just awesome. Like everyone's out and about. You're just seeing everyone mingle. I mean, you're talking about like beat writers, national people, ex-players, current players, agents. I mean, just whatever. And everyone's just talking like. It was just like a really cool environment. And I mean, hopefully you all have been watching along too, but like the content we've been able to put out and do here has been really awesome.
Yeah. And like just this place in general, first off, if you haven't watched the interview that you did with Stephen Nesbitt, he kind of goes into it. Read Stephen Nesbitt's article too on The Athletic. It kind of describes this place perfectly. It's this just giant, it's like being on a cruise ship, but you're not at sea. Like this place is huge.
Yeah.
There's restaurants and bars everywhere. There are people everywhere. There's hotel rooms. There's lights. There's Christmas decorations everywhere. There's while we're sitting here, you'll see boats pass us by. There's a little canal right behind us. You'll see boats. This place is wild. You think you're outside, but we're inside. You just look up. There's the sky, but it's glass windows. But it's a pretty cool atmosphere. The whole Christmassy theme kind of coincides with the winter meetings, and it's pretty neat. Like you're just walking around and you look to your left and there's Ben Cherington having lunch with Oscar Marine. You look to your right and there's Jeff Passan on his phone, ducking behind a pillar.
He's behind a pillar.
I don't know how many times I've seen Jeff Passan duck behind a pillar somewhere on his phone. But
we've talked. Next year's content is a counter of how many times we see Jeff Passan behind a pillar.
Yeah, we're gonna have to record it and just be like 1, 2, because it's been over a handful of times we've seen it.
Or just like John Heyman, just absent-mindedly, like where no one else is. Like all like the GMs are having like a whole conference meeting. All the writers are there, and like John Heyman's just like walking around by himself.
If there's a dark corner that you see, 90% chance that John Heyman is just lurking in the dark corner.
Right.
And he's just like wearing his pajamas. Like the guy's wearing like sweatpants and like a baggy t-shirt. It's wild. And Jeff Passan's wearing like a $10,000 suit every time you see him.
Obvious.
John Heyman lurking in the corners in the dark. just not saying a word to anybody. It's a pretty cool atmosphere.
And then there's Ken Rosenthal just like walking around, trying not to be noticed. I feel like he's like, don't look at me. I got work to do.
Just doing laps. The whole MLB Network crew's here. You got the ESPN guys. You've got, like I said, a lot of the athletic reporters. It's just cool. I mean, everybody's just all in one spot. And, we've ran into, I've probably seen every major league manager here, seen every GM walking around. You've got, front office people. I mean, this is a job fair too. So, you've got ticket office people, baseball ops people, analysts. Like, there's interviews going on. Every time we sit down, there's 5 interviews going on around us. So it's neat. If you haven't been here before, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, like I want to put it that way. I mean, I wouldn't like vacation to the winter meetings. You know what I mean? No. But what I'll say is, like, if you're a baseball fan and you see them here, right? And like if it happens to be in your city, or if you just happen to be in the city that it's in, like, it's an experience. Again, like you mentioned, like, people are just walking around. All the guys you see on TV, baseball execs, like whatever, just walking around, you bumping elbows with them. Like, it's a pretty cool experience. And then like, you get to watch like MLB Network do their shows like live, real time. So it's kind of cool to see like behind the scenes experience on that. So yeah, like as like a normal person, as a fan, like it's a pretty cool experience to see. But like, again, like I wouldn't plan like a vacation around the winter meetings unless you're like a real nerd.
Yeah, like if we weren't doing stuff while we were here,
right,
it would be really boring.
It would also be really weird.
Yeah, it would be a little. But there are fans here. I mean, there's autograph collectors here. I mean, so there's a pretty big mix of people. But we've been busy. It's been like today, as we've been back to back talking with people all day. It's been hectic.
Right. And like I do want to give a special shout out too. Like, shout out to Alex Stump and Jason Mackey and John Prada. We've been hanging out with them all weekend. They've been helping. We've got them on every day doing a recap. Awesome guys. So appreciate everything you guys have done. You guys are awesome. But with that said, let's maybe talk about
what happened.
Yeah. So I guess again, like day one Sunday. Well, let's go back a little bit. We were here Saturday. We didn't really talk too much about this. We were here Saturday. Let's get here beforehand, experience Nashville a little bit. It's kind of fun. But then like Sunday night before like the winter meetings actually started, there was the Marco Gonzalez, Jared Kelenic trade. We talked about it on Starbucks. Then we mentioned like why weren't the Pirates involved in this? Like that's all the needs. Now I know Evan White's not maybe the sexiest person. Kelenic is like whatever. That's, you don't need him. That's nice to have. But like Marco Gonzalez, like you need starters.
Yep.
They made the deal. Then rumors came out that the Braves were looking to flip him. Pirates landed him.
Yeah, and thanks to Ethan Houlihan, you're in the comments here too, so I know you're watching. But
yeah, also shout out to Ethan.
Did a great job with the money kind of exchanging hands there. So just to kind of recap that portion, Marco Gonzalez due to make $12.25 million this year. However, since he's been traded twice, he's gotten two $250,000 assignment bonuses. So he's actually going to make $12.75 million. One of those $250,000 signing bonuses need to be paid by the Pirates. But the Braves are sending the Pirates $9.25 million in cash to cover a lot of that deal. So you're looking at an overall net spend for the Pirates of a little bit over $2.5 million, basically added to the annual payroll with this deal. And I get it, Marco Gonzalez isn't the sexiest name, but when you can add an arm like that to your rotation for less than $3 million, that's a win. Like, the guy's a major league starting pitcher, didn't pitch that well last year, but he was injured. But you look at all the previous seasons with him, he was more than capable. If you look at the underlying data, he outperformed his peripherals, but he's been outperforming his peripherals for his entire career. So I feel like when you see a pitcher and they do that year after year after year, there's a reason for that. He gets soft contact. He's able to locate his pitches. Like I said, not necessarily the most exciting move, but it's a move that the Pirates had to make. And you feel a lot better now going into the rest of this offseason, knowing that you've now got at least a second major league starter. You didn't even spend more than $3 million on it. So now you've got more money to play with now to build out this rotation. maybe acquire a first baseman. Like I said, a lot of things that they still need to do, but I feel like that's a good first step to set things up down the road.
So, like, your operative word, excitement. Like, right, like, Pirates fans shouldn't be excited that it's happened. It's not where, hey, Marco Gonzalez is a Pirate. Everyone throw your hands up in the air. Let's celebrate, right? But, like, what you're seeing is they made a move. They got someone who is, again, like we talk about, an established major league pitcher. Like, he's been there, done that, right? So when you have a situation where you need at least 4 starters to even complete a rotation, adding a Marco Gonzalez as one of your 5, it's fine. You're starting to get there. More needs to be done, right? Like, the exciting move still needs to happen, but at least you're starting to see the rotation being built, okay? But what I took, like, my takeaway on this as well, you mentioned the money part. That's the biggest thing with this. Like, they got a Marco Gonzalez where we talked about, like, if he's on the free agent market right now, is he getting maybe $10 million, $8 million? Probably. You get him for under 3. That gives you more flexibility to spend on that person that's more exciting. I'm not saying it like Eduardo is coming to Pittsburgh, but, like, that's what it opens up. It gives you that option to say, hey, you know what? Maybe let's go get that better option that could bring excitement. So now you have Mitch, you have B, and then Marco's there, and you start filling this rotation. So, like, again, that's why I think this is a win. It's not that I'm excited that Marco Gonzalez is a Pirate, but he is established. He fits as a fine number 5 at this point in time, but by getting him by only that much money enables you to go out for better.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have told me that you could add a major league starter essentially right now to your rotation for $3 million, like, I don't care who it is, like, you're doing that.
Right.
The Pirates literally have 1 currently, and now they've got 2, and they basically got him for free. So, yeah, I think this opens up a lot of possibilities. I mean, if it's me, right, I'm going after an Eduardo Rodriguez type now, because now you can sort of do the math in your head. If you, which is hypothetical here, you give Eduardo Rodriguez a $20 million a year deal. You just added Eduardo Rodriguez and Marco Gonzalez now for $23 million.
Right.
Which I think if anybody would have been given that opportunity, you'd take that in a heartbeat. So, like I said, a lot of opportunities that this opens up. They still have a lot of holes to fill, especially in that rotation. But they've got 1 less to fill now, and they were able to do it without really giving up anything.
Right.
Other than just a tiny bit of cash.
And again, let's talk about money. And Ethan, you're in here, so of course, correct me if I need to be corrected. But, like, with Kutch baked into about $5 million, let's take out Kutch. Okay, without Kutch right now, by adding Marco, and if you went after an Eduardo, your payroll for this year is still about $75 million. When you add a Kutch and think of it about $5 million, you're still right under $80 million probably. So you've went ahead and added an established, good quality starting pitcher in Eduardo Rodriguez, and then you went and got Marco. There's 3 guys now. You need 2 more. You're still right under $80 million. Like, you maybe get a Jack Flaherty for, is he going to cost you $8 million? So you're at around $85 to $88 million in that price range about adding him. Like, you still have a lot of flexibility in this. You know what I mean? And now you're starting to see, like, hey, you know what? We're starting to get a Major League Baseball team that can actually compete in 2024, even while seeing what the Reds are doing, what the Cardinals are doing. The Brewers are still up there. Like, we don't know what they're exactly doing yet, right? So, like, you're starting to feel better about this upcoming year, and you're still well within $100 million, Jim. We're not even talking about 120. We're talking about $100 million.
Yeah, you're well within it. According to Ethan's spreadsheet, estimated 2024 payroll right now, just under $58 million. So that's the current projected payroll as it stands.
And again, that's also with Kutch, right?
That's with Kutch.
Right.
Yeah. So that's adding Kutch.
Right.
So no Kutch, you're looking at that being less than $53 million right now.
Right.
And then you've added that pitcher, so you have some room to work with.
So again, like, that's why I really like the Marco trade. It gives you the options to go out there and get what you really need, not just settle, but say, we want to compete, let's do it.
Yeah. It's hard to complain about this trade. I think if you're looking to complain about it, you just want to complain. There's
fair.
There's just not a whole lot to dislike. Yeah, there's just not a whole lot to dislike about this. Neil asks in here, do you think the nerve damage is going to hold Marco Gonzalez back from eating any innings? I don't know. I haven't looked at the medicals. So by all accounts, he's on a normal off-season workout program. So you would hope that he's ready to go and he's 100% for spring training in the 2024 season. The other thing, too, is just the way that this roster is shaping up. You may not need him to go a full season, right? Like the Pirates theoretically, and you can't really count on theoreticals all the time,
right?
But come mid-season, you hope that they are going to have some reinforcements to that pitching rotation. You hope that Jared Jones is ready. You hope that Paul Skeens is ready. You hope that JT Brubaker is back. You hope that Mike Burrows is back.
Right.
So you've got a lot of arms that are there, kind of waiting in the wings in case you need them. I mean, who knows? Skeens, I doubt he starts opening day, but you're looking at, you've got a lot of people there to help finish the season. What the Pirates really need right now are guys to start the season, and Marco Gonzalez looks like he can be one of those guys.
And Neil, talking to you, buddy, like this is the way I look at it. A $3 million risk is what you're looking at for Marco Gonzalez. Again, like I take that every day. It's $3 million for that risk. If he doesn't finish the season, like it's still a win. Like we talk about, like if you want to go dollars per WAR, that type of thing, like he needs to provide you a quarter WAR for him to get that contract. You know what I mean? So like I'm going to take that risk all day long. Again, that's why I look at this trade. It's a good trade. There's upside in there. I can't tell you if that nerve damage is going to hold up, if it's going to hinder him. But what you've heard so far is things are like boxes are being checked.
Yeah, I think if he can start 10 games, he's worth the contract.
Right.
And if he anything over that is just, it's gravy.
And again, like that's what we come to. Like the Pirates they're in a bad situation. Like no matter how you look at it, they're in a bad situation. They have Mitch Keller. You have to find ways. So like things are still going to have to work out right for them, but like try to get yourself as much pitching as possible. So Marco Gonzalez under $3 million. He's one of them. Keep adding. Like Jim said, Skeens, Jones, Brubaker, Burrows. Like there's some reinforcements coming. You can't bank on them, but like if one of the four gives you something afterwards, then like you're seeing something brew here. Seeing something like they could compete. They just have to make sure they keep adding and they don't just completely settle on these types. Like you still want to see like an Eduardo, right? Something out there that you can maybe bank on more than, Marco. But again,
and I think and just to kind of piggyback on that, I think another thing that's kind of missing from this conversation is Marco Gonzalez also has an option for next year. So like if Marco Gonzalez comes in and he pitches well, the Pirates can pick him up for 2025 at $15 million, which judging the free agent market right now, if Marco Gonzalez puts together basically a full season of fine baseball, he's going to be worth $15 million next year. So the Pirates not only are solving a problem for this year, but if it works out and he's able to regain that form that he had prior to 2023, you're looking at another arm for your 2025 rotation, at $15 million.
And Jim, you look at that sense, which it could be true, but realistically thinking, $15 million Pirates, if these reinforcements come back, I know you're smiling and I get it, but like, think about this. Mitch is there, right? Oviedo does come back. You still have Brubaker. Skeens is Skeens. Jones is Jones. Maybe someone else figures out. If you have an Eduardo Rodriguez, like he's still there. Not only is this like potentially comes back, but like they can recoup value. If he does what he wants to do, there's a potential they could trade him next year. They could get back more than they gave up to get him. And because again, like you can't bank on it, but they could be in a situation next year where they're fine with pitching, which is fine. That's good. And they could maybe trade him, get something else, and pivot from there. So like again, like that's why I like the deal too, because you mentioned the option. They give them options for next year, how they want to utilize him. Is he going to be part of the rotation, or is he going to be a piece to give them something else, where they may need?
Yeah, a lot of possibilities you can take from here. We got a comment here too. Sign Eduardo Rodriguez, trade for Edward Cabrera. The Marlins definitely are shopping some of their pitchers around. We mentioned on Monday that by all accounts, the Pirates are really looking at the trade market to better their team. Like I said, they're gonna dangle around free agency a little bit, but for the most part, they're looking at trades. You saw them add the Marco Gonzalez trade. My guess is that they're not done trading, and I'm sure they've at least had some sort of talks with the Marlins sometime this week. If the Marlins are dangling 3 starting pitchers, out there, Pirates, obviously, you do the math, they need starting pitching. I'm sure they've been in contact. Edward Cabrera, definitely somebody that I'd be interested in adding for sure. So yeah, I would sign, if you sign Eduardo Rodriguez and trade for Edward Cabrera, that's a pretty good offseason. I would commend Ben Cherington for those moves to address the pitching rotation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's like the one thing about the Pirates, like in this unique situation they're in, what we're hearing is trade. So it only makes sense to like trade for someone who has like 1 year left that you don't have to give up a lot of assets for that's solved this year, because you feel comfortable in the future, right? Like Oviedo coming back, Skeens will be there for sure next year, right? And such. So like a 1 year deal or something more long term. And the reason I say that is like, yeah, the Pirates don't seem to be in on Dylan Cease. I would like them to, right? But like it's just 2 years. So maybe like Edward Cabrera makes more sense, a little more control. Like if you're gonna give up assets, I want them here. Right. So like maybe that's why they're not focused on that, but they're focused maybe more on the Marlins stuff. But I'm with you. It sounds to be more of we're going to build through trade. And hey, you know what? This is why you had 5,000 middle infield prospects.
They've got plenty to.
This is why you have the roster crunch and the 40-man and such. Like you've created this plethora of prospect capital. It's time to cash it in, maybe. So I don't know what they'll use, what they'll have to give up to do such, but I certainly see like the Marlins make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think they're not done yet. They had a lot of talks, I'm sure, this week. It'll be interesting to see how they continue to address this rotation. They still need somebody at first base. We'll talk about, they did acquire someone in the minor league phase of the Rule 5 draft, but let's be real.
Cheers, Jim.
Let's be real. If you are looking to compete in 2024, Seth Beer, probably not your guy.
Right.
But yeah, let's kind of talk about that. So minor league Rule 5 phase, they didn't take anyone in the major league portion, and kind of going into the draft, heard some rumblings that the Pirates were going to pick a guy, and then that person was likely going to be the player to be named later in the Braves trade. But with that, I'm assuming that player got picked ahead of time. So the Pirates ended up passing in the Rule 5 phase, which probably means you're looking at cash considerations going back to the Braves. Ethan did some good work there that, $100,000 is pretty much the max there. So again, not a whole lot there in terms of value going back to the Braves for Marco Gonzalez. You didn't really give up a whole lot. But Rule 5 phase, major league portion, no one acquired. Kind of an overall quiet Rule 5 draft anyways.
Yeah.
There were only 10 people taken overall. No one from the Pirates were taken. So, we had a lot of discussions about Jace Bowen and Matt Gorski and Malcolm Nunez, some guys who were left off.
Well, think of that. Let's rewind back a month when it was like, who do the Pirates need to protect? Oh my God, they need to protect. We can't lose these guys. And it's like, relax. They're probably not getting selected anyways, and today proved it, because this was like very underwhelming Rule 5 draft seemed, and it showed because not a whole lot were selected. But yes, Jim, Pirates didn't lose anyone. Jace Bowen's still there. Matt Gorski's still there, right?
Jace Bowen's still there. The Yankees, probably the biggest victims in the Rule 5 draft. They lost 3 guys in the major league phase. Minor league phase, though, Pirates did end up losing. Really, the big name there, Dario Lopez, big name that they lost. Top 20 prospect, according to most people. He missed almost all of last season. You like the power, but we also found out today that that procedure he had on his knee, there were some complications to it. So a little bit of uncertainty around his health going into 2024,
Right.
which probably the reason why he was left off the minor league protected list, because the Pirates obviously had some room there. They did pick some guys in the draft. But yeah, Dario Lopez taken in the minor league phase, was not expecting that. I wasn't.
So it's one of those things like, no, I wasn't expecting it, right? I guess like I look at this again. You know, I know there's a lot of people that seem like upset about it. Like livid, right? Dario Lopez taken. Oh my God, what's going on? Like, end of the world type stuff. If you're an organization that loses Dario Lopez and it's the end of the world, shut it down. Shut it down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's one of the things. We talk about the Yankees got picked off 3 guys. Do you think Yankees fans care? They're getting Juan Soto, right? Like Dario Lopez was intriguing. He's still a prospect. He's outside the top 10. You know, like how many top 5 prospects don't even hit and make it in the majors? If you're losing to Dario Lopez, like sure, it wasn't expected. I'd rather him be here than not here, right? But losing him's not the end of the world. And now just seeing this, it seems like there's probably more complications. We're not privy to that information. You know, the Pirates let him be available. They probably weren't too comfortable with it either, and said, you know what, if it happens, it happens. And that's just how I am with it. You know, like no, it wasn't expected, but I'm not going to spend too much more time on this. This is it. It's time to move forward. You lost Dario Lopez. Okay.
If the Pirates didn't protect Dario Lopez in the minor league phase of the Rule 5 draft, I'm not all that concerned.
Can I say something again? The second round of like he was available to every team to pick. If he was that highly touted and like, oh my God, I can't believe the Pirates made this mistake. Why would it take to the second round of the minor league portion of the Rule 5 for him to even get taken?
That is a good point. I mean, for $25,000, any team could have had Dario Lopez, and every single team passed once.
Like that speaks more to me than, oh my God, he's the 16th prospect according to Pipeline. Every GM said, we'll wait. Or they just completely passed and said, we don't take anyone at all. You know, so like that's why I'm not too worried. Internally, like we value Pirate stuff so much, whatever, but like when externally, other GMs are like, maybe second round, I'll take a flyer on him. That says to me, like, okay, around the league, he wasn't valued that high either.
No, that's a good point. Good point. As far as players acquired, we already mentioned him a little bit earlier. Seth Beer, former first-round pick, power-hitting first baseman. The problem with Seth Beer is he's now 27 years old. He really just has never been able to pan out. And that power that we've seen in the minor leagues, the power that made him a first-round pick that he had in college, it just hasn't translated to major league success. It hasn't translated to success in the high levels of the minors either. Back to back, and
we're talking PCL
performances, right? In AAA. I mean, he played the majority of last season in AA as a 26-year-old. I can't imagine Seth Beer has a realistic shot of being this team's first baseman. And the problem is he better not, actually, because if Seth Beer is given a legitimate chance to win this first base job, the Pirates have a lot of problems.
You didn't do your job this offseason.
No. So he's minor league depth. You know, Mason Martin is a minor league free agent, no longer in the organization. Look at if you have any aspirations for Seth Beer, just get him out of your mind right now. He is a Mason Martin replacement. He shouldn't step foot outside of Victory Field, I would imagine, unless something just completely clicks for him. Which like I said, he's been a pro now for 7 years, 6 years, and he hasn't figured it out yet.
Yeah, like it just is what it is. It's a name. Like it's funny because like it's a name I think a lot of people are familiar with. Like he was a top prospect. He was a first rounder. Yeah. By the way, Charrington, check. Like that's a Charrington guy.
Yep.
Right. But again, like this thing, it's a minor league Rule 5. You add him, whatever. But the thing is, like, you don't add him with the anticipation of, hey, we need help at first base. Maybe Seth Beer can be that. you add him of like, hey, Seth Beer's available. He was a first rounder. Doesn't cost us anything but $25,000. You know what? Let's add him. Mason Martin's a free agent, like you mentioned. Let's just go ahead and add him. Get in our depth, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, like you don't make this move saying, oh, first base, we're good.
He kind of reminds me of Jeff Clement, like former first rounder, top prospect, hit in the minors, but then just never figured out in the majors. Hopefully the Pirates aren't giving Seth Beer the same amount of opportunities that they gave Jeff Clement. They're in a little bit different spot right now than they were back then, but that's kind of the first name that popped into my head.
Now, what I'll say, I think it was Jeff Nola who said this on Twitter, was like, he shouldn't be anywhere near PNC Park playing, but maybe his role is to have the icy lights ready for David Bednar. Keep him coming. Keep David Bednar happy. Like, that's his role for this organization. And for $25,000, well worth it.
Yeah, maybe. You know what? I don't even want to entertain a joke that Seth Beer should be on this major league team because it shouldn't happen. The Pirates already have one too many minor league Rule 5 picks on their 40-man roster.
Sure,
so let's move on. Seth Beer was actually their second pick though in the minor league Rule 5 draft. Another guy, and I don't even know if I'm gonna butcher this name so bad. 26-year-old reliever Phineas Delbonta Smith. I think Phineas Delbonta Smith, 22nd round pick of the Rockies in 2019. He was selected as the first round pick in the minor league Rule 5 draft. Double-A reliever. He pitched pretty terribly last year in Double-A, so I don't really understand this. I wouldn't pay $24,000, $25,000 for this dude, but it's a minor league depth arm signing. I have nothing else to say about this dude.
Listen, Jim, first off, let's put it this way. He comes from Colorado. If you think the Pirates are a bad organization, Colorado's terrible. I'm looking around because we're at the Winter Meetings, and I don't know who's around me. There probably could be some Colorado.
Does Colorado even have a general manager?
They might not even be here. But no,
that's Clint Hurdle. He's been walking around in Colorado.
That's true. Yeah. But, listen, Colorado can't figure things out. If you think the Pirates can't figure things out, Colorado can't either. So, all I'm saying, I'm not trying to prop this guy up, but it is just $25,000. Maybe there's something that the Pirates like in him, and he could just be depth, whatever. Again, you're not making this move to say, hey, we've solved the bullpen, but maybe you saw something in there that you like. Marine says, this week, that week, maybe it's add some depth. And again, it's $25,000. You are a professional baseball team in Major League Baseball. Like $25,000 is nothing. So, whatever. Yeah. My biggest takeaway, they got two elite names. I mean, Phineas and Seth Beer.
That's true.
I would do this just for the lulz. For $50,000, just say you have a Phineas and a Beer, I would do it. Give me some beers to throw back. I'm at the MLB Rule 5 minor league portion of the draft.
As long as
I want that guy.
Watch me. You know what? We were in on Eduardo Rodriguez. We were just $50,000 short. As long as that doesn't happen,
right?
Sure, whatever.
Right. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So minor league Rule 5, Major League Rule 5 that ended. Marco Gonzalez is there. What else do you want to talk about with this team right
now? So Travis Williams was made available for the media today. John Parado talked about it in our Day 3 recap. That'll be up later here tonight. But sounds like a couple things. Jason Mackey tweeted out patches on the jerseys potentially next season. So we're going to have to do some fun contests as far as who is that patch going to be.
It's us.
It could be North Shore 9.
Am I getting fined for saying that?
Could be North Shore 9. I'm thinking it's got to be Edgar Schneider. What if you have an Edgar Schneider patch right here?
Could you imagine Edgar Schneider?
We don't get paid unless we get money for you.
I'll tell you this much. For all the commercials we find, it's going to be some lawyer.
Yeah. Mike's beer guard. Yeah. So steak on a stone. Steak on a stone patch right here. Yeah. Yeah, so that was news. The Pirates are one of the only teams really that haven't done that yet.
Let's real briefly talk about that.
Yeah.
Like if there was a team that's going to capitalize this on day one, it wasn't the Pirates. The Yankees got a pass before the Pirates. Think about it.
Yeah. I mean, the Yankees iconic franchise exactly. There's a lot of teams that have done it. A lot of teams in the division that have already moved to that. So not really a surprise move that the Pirates are going to do it. I'm not really all that interested in who it is, but
I
sure
am.
we'll find out.
I'm interested because I want to know where this is going.
Yeah. Another thing that came out of the Travis Williams talks, though, is they do anticipate to have some sort of decision as far as a network by the end of the year. So we got 3 more weeks left, basically, in the year.
Right.
We should know by January as far as if are the Pirates going to be on Pittsburgh Sportsnet? Are they going to go through MLB? They're anticipating that decision to be done by the end of the year,
which I think is great. I mean, there's a lot of people that are wondering like if this is holding up stuff, free agency because of the money stuff, which it could, of course, right? But like just to finally know what direction they're going, have this resolved. I know a lot of people are asking and questioning this, so it's coming. Like it's nice to know that if anything in this world that's been definitive, right? Because we know when Charrington speaks, you don't know what happened, what's said. The one definitive thing is by the end of this year, there is a number, there's a cutoff date. We'll know about that. So we're coming in 2024 to know what direction they're going, maybe see what's going to happen. It's kind of cool. It's like the most non-baseball relevant thing. I think that's a lot of people's minds.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Pirate Fest 2 tickets went on sale this week. So 16,000 tickets already sold for Pirate Fest. I'm a huge Pirate Fest fan. I mean, back when I lived in Pittsburgh, I went every year. I thought it was always enjoyable. So it's back at the convention center after a 4-year hiatus.
Jeez, yeah, it's been 4 years. Huh?
Yeah, 4-year hiatus with Pirate Fest. So we won't make it up there. I don't believe I won't be there. But if you can make it out to Pirate Fest, I'm sure it'll be a good time.
Yeah, but again, like finally a W. I don't understand why they didn't bring it back. Deep down, I think I know why. But regardless, like it was a big missed opportunity. And I think this is proving it. Like fans there's a lot of Pirate fans. No matter like this franchise has been kind of a mess for quite some time, right? They're still here. They want to do these things. So like the fact that you haven't had this, like I don't understand why they didn't do it. It's a complete missed opportunity. I'm glad it's back. The fans are showing like, hey, we want it. We're gonna come out. So good on them.
Yeah, I mean, as far as all the Travis Williams stuff today, I think the biggest shock to me is like, is this the first time Travis Williams has ever talked where like he hasn't said something just absolutely stupid?
I assume. I'll say this: like I wasn't there to hear, but all the stuff over here, like we haven't heard what stupid stuff he said.
Yeah, that's true. I know that's true. He could have said something really stupid that it just hasn't come out yet. But based off of everything that that the reporters who did talk to him say, no stupid things out of Travis Williams' mouth today. So that maybe that's a step in the right direction for this organization.
Moving on up. Yeah. So good on them. Outside of that, right? Like, doesn't seem to be a whole lot going on. Again, there's not a whole lot going on around MLB. But I was afraid that we were going to come in here. The only thing we were going to talk about was the Rule 5 draft. And that didn't happen. Like, there was more that took place. Kudos to that. Cody has a weird face on him right now. I don't. Okay. I thought maybe. Yeah, nothing to do with baseball. I felt like Ohtani signed with Pittsburgh the way his look, his face looked. Yeah. So, like, again, like, Jim, like, more happened. I'm grateful that like at least that happened so far.
Yeah. Some quick breaking news. John Morosi, who we were just standing next to like an hour ago. Eduardo Rodriguez and the Arizona Diamondbacks have advanced discussions about a multi-year contract. Deal is not finalized, but the NL champions are among the finalists to sign him. I think the only thing that I can say about that is if the Arizona Diamondbacks are making a strong play for Eduardo Rodriguez, then that means that the Pittsburgh Pirates should also be able to do the same thing. Like the Diamondbacks are by no means a large market team with a ton of money to spend. They did go to the World Series, so I'm sure they've got some extra playoff revenue there to play with. But that is by no means is Arizona a franchise that you shouldn't be able to compete with when it comes to free agents.
Right. There were reports that it was coming down to two teams. Now here in Rossi that they're advancing with the Diamondbacks. It's kind of disappointing. And again, like I know we've been not say pound the table, but that's certainly been a free agent that we've been like zoning in on. Like it just makes a lot of sense. Lefty, what he is, what this team needs, the money. Like it's going to be more. Hey, it would be the biggest free agent contract the Pirates signed. But again, we're talking about what, maybe $80 million, the largest ever. You got to break $39 million sometime, Jim, right? And like, what better time than the year that you're supposed to step on the accelerator, supposed to say we're going to try to compete, and you have now two starters in the rotation. Like, this is the year you make that move. You kind of have to. So, yeah, it's a little disappointing to see that it's probably not going to be the Pirates. Sounds like it's maybe leaning towards the Diamondbacks. Yeah, that's all, I guess.
And don't get me wrong, I wasn't expecting the Pirates to sign Eduardo Rodriguez. It's just like they've got to make a move. They've got to sign one of these good pitchers. You can't just rely on bounce back candidates and reclamation projects. You can't do it. You need at least one more sure thing. And he was one of the few sure things still out there, and he still is. It just says Arizona is one of the finalists. So who knows what's going to happen there? But as far as all of the Eduardo Rodriguez, rumors that we've been hearing, the Pirates haven't been linked to him at all.
Well, who have they been linked to?
The Pirates haven't been linked to anybody. Right.
They've been linked to Flaherty if he doesn't get anything that he wants.
Right.
But no, and honestly, like, and John actually said it to us behind the scenes, but like, the Pirates weren't linked to Marco anyway. Like, the Pirates have been notoriously secret, quiet about everything. So, like, theoretically, they could still be in it. We just don't know because you just won't know. But yeah, like, I want to say this too. Like, I know we didn't expect him. That's kind of the thing we've been conditioned to. Like, you just don't expect these things to happen. There's got to be a time where you have to start expecting this stuff. You need to start winning. You need to start competing. You need to get past the rebuild and look forward to say we're going to be a good team. So, like, this is the year to start expecting this type of stuff. When you have 4 guys in rotation and you want to look at a bounce back candidate and you get a couple of them, fine. But like you're saying, Jim, you can't load a rotation of 4 guys that are bounce back candidates in Mitch Keller because 2 out of them 4 ain't going to bounce back. So where are you at now? So like that's why like there was a need for an Eduardo type. Now at least you have Mitch, at least you have Eduardo. Maybe you start piecing some other stuff with bounce backs. Maybe a little less risk, right? But like there's 2 guys that you can actually count on.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're looking now, let's just assume, if we just assume that that Eduardo Rodriguez is no longer on the board, when it comes to those free agents, those starting pitchers who are available, Jordan Montgomery, Blake Snell. Blake Snell's probably not going to happen. Jordan Montgomery is going to cost just about the same as Rodriguez,
if not more at this point in time.
And then you're getting into like Seth Lugo, Marcus Stroman territory. Seth Lugo's a name that I've been, talking about for a while. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
No.
But then after those guys, Michael Wacha, Stroman, Lugo. Those are kind of your next 3 guys.
And they all come with the risk. Like, and that's why it costs a little bit less money, right? But like Eduardo Rodriguez seemed, I don't ever want to say a sure thing, but I feel good. Seth Lugo, we added some, but there's still a little bit of uneasiness with him. Stroman, he's been fantastic. And again, like, even though we're blocked, we love Stroman.
I love Marcus Stroman.
Love Stroman. But there starts to begin a worry at this, I don't want to say advanced age, but like he is only like 5'7". He has a lot of innings. He's when I worry a little bit about like a long-term deal. So pay a little bit more to get Eduardo Rodriguez and not have to worry about it, right? So that's the thing. Like some of these pitchers have a little more warts than you'd want to be comfortable with than Eduardo Rodriguez, but right, like that. This is it now. This is what you're pretty much left with, where you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, I mean,
After Mitch Keller.
unless they're going to make another trade for one of those quote unquote sure things, they're running out of names in the free agency market. And at some point, if this team wants to be serious about 2024, they're going to have to acquire a reliable number 2 behind Mitch Keller.
Right. Yep. So, outside of that, Jim, anything else you want to talk about?
I got nothing else. Again, it's been a really fun week here. Just being able to see all of everybody in the baseball industry all in one spot. It's been really neat. I'm kind of bummed out that it's pretty much over. I know a lot of the Pirates contingency, they've already left for the week. There's still some people here, but I know a lot of the main guys they hopped on a plane tonight to go back home.
Right.
But yeah, it's been fun. It's been a fun week.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like recap our trip. Like, it's been an awesome time. Definitely met some people. There's now even more things in the works. It sounds like upcoming and such, and so that's awesome. But I'm really excited for the off season we can provide you guys that's coming up. I'm excited for the off season and coming the next year and such. This is really awesome.
I'm excited for the we went to we had some Nashville hot chicken today. I'm excited for that video. There's now going to be a video on the internet of me like sweating, face red, crying while eating chicken. So I'm sure that'll be fun.
You were so weak, Jim.
That chicken was hot.
Not as weak as Cody, though.
That chicken.
Not as weak as Cody.
True. Cody, who's been, honestly, let me brag on Cody for a little bit. He's been outstanding this whole week. Just kind of the man behind the camera. He's done a great job. But Cody couldn't even make it to the last piece of chicken. he tapped out. He was having a rough go of it. I at least finished all 6 flavors.
You did.
Now you were just sitting there like nothing happened. I don't know how. I don't get it.
It hit me afterwards.
Man.
Like I said, the last one hit me afterwards. It was hot. But yeah, you were red. Cody didn't make it. But I'll say this, like, it was great content. But the food there was so good.
It was good.
Like, shout out to Honeybees. Like, it was so good.
It was really good.
And I do want to say, too, like, Cody, I know you're on camera right now. Awesome job. Appreciate everything you've done.
Yeah, he's done a great job. Great job. But no, yeah, excited. We've got a lot of stuff still that we've recorded that we haven't, edited and put together. So excited for some stuff to come out over the next week or so. Yeah, it's been a good time.
There it is. So I guess we can wrap this up. Next on site, Bradenton once again. That's Jim. That's like in 2 months.
Yeah, so spring training, I guess 2024
that's
spring
coming
training. That's the next time we'll get together.
We're almost there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hey, I guess let's get out of here. Does that sound good to you?
Let's do it. With 2 boats, Cody. 2 boats passed us. That was it. Only 2 boats. Yeah. Yeah.
Do we want to take a boat ride?
I don't want to
do it anymore.
I'm not taking a boat ride. It's $23 to ride this boat. I'm not paying $23 just ride around this place in a boat.
Oh, I didn't say on their boat.
Yeah.
We were going to sneak in the canoe.
We could probably sneak in a canoe and just dump it in right here behind us.
So stay tuned to the live canoe ride as we get escorted out of the hotel.
Yeah.
By the police.
Yeah.
But no, let's definitely get out of here. Once again, appreciate everyone for following along. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.